Hello there, my name is Mr. Wilson. I'm Assistant Head at Harrogate High School and Head of ICT. I'm bringing this short presentation to you today to give you an oversight of Creative iMedia to hopefully help you to make a well-informed decision about whether this is a correct option for you for your Key Stage 4 options. I hope you find this information informative and please do not hesitate to contact me if you need any further information. If you choose this course, then you will study 4 units across a 2-year period. In the first year of the course, you will study RO81, Pre-Production Skills, which culminates in a written exam paper at the end of the unit. You will also study RO82, which is Creating Digital Graphics. Now, during both units, you will explore the creation of graphics, you will analyse graphics, and you will look at how graphics are used in creative media. They're two incredibly interesting units, both to teach and to learn, and students thoroughly enjoy getting to grips with the content. A huge bonus of 82, Creating Digital Graphics, is also that students have an opportunity to develop their understanding and really apply that knowledge in the coursework and in the designs that they create. So I'll show you some examples of this work as we go through the presentation. We also have in our second year RO85, which is creating a web page, and RO87, which is creating an interactive multimedia product. Now it's really important to note that across these 4 units, the weighting of each unit is the same. So it's 25% for each of the 4 units, which makes up the full qualification. So as we move on to component 1, RO81, as mentioned previously, this is the written paper. And this is a written paper which lasts 1 hour and 15 minutes. The maximum mark is 60, and depending on how we choose to deliver the course, you can either choose to sit the exam in the winter or the summer series. Now, a benefit of this is if we are not comfortable and confident with the grade that you've achieved, we together can decide whether it's appropriate for you to resit that exam, and we can put that provision in place. As mentioned earlier, there's 25% of the overall grade attributed to this unit. And what you can see from the screenshot on the slide, there are a range of different questions and different styles of questions that you would sit through as part of the exam. So there are some 1-mark questions, which are questions which ask you to identify different skills and different aspects of pre-production. We move on then to looking at possible 9-mark questions, which you can see there, which is create a visualization diagram of the reward screen of the smartphone health app, and it provides some more information there. And then finally there are some 12-mark answers. So these are clearly the most difficult, and these are the ones that we spend a lot of time on in lessons supporting you to make sure you are confident in planning out those questions and delivering the best possible response that you can. So for that question, it's discussing the suitability of the content and the layout of a mind map, and it gives you then some more information about the sort of things that you should include in that. So we're looking at strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. So we now move on to component 2, RO82. Now this is a fabulous coursework unit, and what I'm conscious of is I want to show you examples of this work because that really brings it alive. So the intention is that all our work builds on the preparation work that we do in RO81, and students continue to build their knowledge of digital graphics and their use in media. So there's some really interesting exploration that students will embark on prior to developing their own graphic. And you can see a little shot at the bottom of the screen of a graphic which I'll talk about a little bit further on the next slide. Here we can see an example of a student's work. A student did this quite recently, and it is a fabulous example of the sort of work that students can achieve on this course. In order to develop this design, students use a software package called Adobe Fireworks. And students start with a completely blank canvas and work to a certain criteria which is set out by the exam board. So this example, students had to create a graphic which was suitable for a vinyl album cover. And the album cover is Fifth Planet on the left, and the band name is Percussive Progress. As part of the spec, students had to create a retro theme. They had to include images of different musical instruments and create a graphic which was striking to meet their target audience. So as you can see from this graphic, the student has created the text. The text of Percussive Progress and left is drawn from independent lines and has been created together to then show the text. The image of the planet is superimposed from another image. The background has been taken out. The student has added opacity levels to the graphic, and if you look quite closely, you can see in the background that they've included a drum kit, and they've added that as a shadow at the very back of the graphic. So you might have to look a little bit closer to see that, but this is just a really good example of the sort of thing, if you come onto this course, that you could achieve when designing your graphics. Now clearly you might not have these skills at the very start of the course, but you will really quickly pick it up, and with our support and guidance you can develop some really intricate and complex designs. And we now move on to component 3, which is called RO87. Now again, students continue to build on their knowledge from 81 and 82. And in this unit, students build their knowledge of interactive multimedia products. And to enable them to do this, they review products such as games and apps, information kiosks, and virtual museums, among another wide range of different options. Students are then required to create their own interactive multimedia product which meets a client brief. And you can see a screenshot of a student's work just at the bottom of the screen, which I feel is incredibly professional. And what I'll do in the following slides, I will just talk you through what students have done and why they've done it, and talk about the benefits of their work to give you a real handle on what you would be doing as part of this unit if you came onto this course. So students were working towards a design brief which required them to create a graphic for a tourist information board. This had to be interactive, and this student chose to do this on Harrogate hotels and restaurants. And this screen here is an example of one of the slides that we used as part of the design. Now there were a few really important things as part of this. Firstly, we had to make sure that there was a consistent slide style, and hopefully as you move through the presentation you will see the other slides that the student produced and how they are consistent. We had to make sure that the text was in a similar place, and we had to be quite critical about how you would navigate around the presentation. Now we advise students to use Microsoft PowerPoint, and if we did that, students just had to remove some of the functionalities that you would normally use in PowerPoint to make sure that this worked as an interactive multimedia page and more like a website than a PowerPoint. So I'll go through the slides so you can see the consistent approach and how the design builds throughout. And as we move on to the second slide, you can hopefully see that there's still a fabulous level of consistency. The images are in the same place, the textile is the same, the way you navigate to the website for the crown is in exactly the same place. And that is what is really important to produce a high quality interactive multimedia product. So you can see here that the student has now moved on to restaurants, and they've chosen Manhattan. And again, we've got a consistent slide style. What I really like about this design is they've also included a menu button. And when you click on that, a really nifty little navigation point, it takes you through to another slide which shows the full menu. Now, a thing to note on this slide, the quality of the graphics that are used are also credited with marks. And what you can see from the image in the middle, unfortunately, there is slight pixelation, so the image looks slightly grainy. So for this example, this student will have lost marks because of not having images that were high quality enough. And as we move on to the menu page, you can see here an overview of the menu. And what they've done then to navigate back to the Manhattan homepage is they've added an icon at the bottom right hand corner. As you click on that, that takes you straight back, and then from Manhattan you can click on the home button, which takes you back to the home slide. So again, a simple but really effective way of navigating around this interactive multimedia product. And finally, we move on to the last component, component 4, which is RO85. Once again, this is a coursework unit, and the key focus that the content in this unit builds on all the prior work so far in this creative iMedia course. Students continue to build their knowledge in this unit of the properties and features of a multi-page website, and then students work independently to plan, create and review their own multi-page website. And just before we finish the presentation, I felt it was really important to draw your attention to the grading of this course. Now, this is a Cambridge National course and it is graded slightly differently to a GCSE. But what you can hopefully see from the table on the screen, there are two main levels that you can achieve. There's a level 1 and a level 2. So if I provide you an example, if your child, for example, was to achieve a merit at level 1, if you look across the right hand side of the table, you can see that that is equivalent to a 2 as a GCSE grade. And as you move up the table, if your child was to achieve a pass at a level 2, that would be equivalent to a 4 or 5 as a GCSE grade. So that's just something to be mindful of as you're making your options. I hope you found this short presentation informative, and I really hope it's provided you with an opportunity to develop your understanding of this course. It is a fabulous course, and it's one which really allows students to excel if you are creative, if you're hardworking, and you're willing to try and develop your skills in new online creative software. Please, if there's anything I can do to help, any more support or guidance that I can offer, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email address is on screen and it's lwilson@harrogatehighschool.co.uk. Thank you.